Hi, I'm Kara Gooding, a physician assistant. I practice in Chandler, Arizona at the Center for Dermatology and Plastic Surgery, and I'm here at the Derm 2026 conference in Las Vegas. And one of my lectures is about speaking up, negotiating, and taking career risks. And so we talk about negotiations and we think about, okay, we're just negotiating our contract and we're just looking at our finances, but there's a lot of other things that we can negotiate in our career. And so I talk a lot about those types of things, not only just our finances, but our PTO, our bonus structures, but also looking at other things such as maybe you want to do a procedure in your clinic. Maybe you're not doing excisions and you want to. Sometimes that's something you may have to negotiate with your employer, or perhaps you want to do something like cosmetics that maybe is not offered in your practice. Those are things that you might have to negotiate. So I talk about tips for successful negotiations. I've been through lots of negotiations in my 26 years practicing as a PA and having moved from a couple of different clinics. So oftentimes that does take a lot of negotiations. So we talk about that, and then I also talk about speaking up, and that just means not only speaking up for yourself, but also sometimes for your patients, for your colleagues as well, and advocating, I think, is really what the main highlight is. So throughout my career, there's been a few times where I felt like I needed to advocate not only for myself in my career, but also for my colleagues. One was I founded the Arizona Dermatology PA Society back in 2010. There was an explosion of APP providers in the Phoenix area, and we didn't have any sort of formally organized organization. So I created an organization and led that organization for the following 10 years. And it's still a very robust society today. And then also more recently, I'm part of a private equity group practice called Platinum Dermatology. We're in 5 different states, and we have a large presence we have what's called the Physician Leadership Council, but there was an unmet need within that organization for representation of APPs. So I actually started up, and I'm head of the NPPA Council for Platinum Dermatology as well. So just kind of advocating for yourself and finding unmet needs and creating opportunities for yourself to advance your career, but then also taking career risks. And what does that mean? Like, there's a lot of different risks that we take, and sometimes that's just, okay, I'm at a practice where I feel like maybe I'm not being valued and I need to move to a different practice. Maybe it's moving on and taking a role in industry, but there's also a lot of other risks that you can take. Maybe you want to get involved in speaking, or you want to be on an advisory board, and sometimes maybe that's not something you feel comfortable with. So I give some tips throughout my lecture of things that you can do to help advance your career, but also talking about how taking career risks really shaped me into being able to do the things that I am able to do today, which I feel like has involved a lot of, and now I talk about a lot of how that happened, but things like hard work, negotiating, making connections, talking to your peers, talking with your pharmaceutical partners, your MSLs, your TLLs, your reps, and finding out what opportunities there are for you within your career.